string just a little bit, or you loosen it to make the sound go down a little bit. When depending on what kind of fine tuner you have, and let's hope that, most people are going to have all 4 strings done with tuners on them. As you get more advanced, like I only have the top string because I use the pegs more often. Some people who are professionals playing all the time, they don't even have that. They just use the pegs all the time. But the nice thing about these is that you really can't break a string with them. I mean, you really aren't going to ever tune it so tightly that the string's going to break. It doesn't really I've never heard of it happening. The downside is, because there's a very limited range. That's how it keeps from breaking the strings. It only does it a small amount. So I want you to take the A string. Now, if you know where the A string is on your instrument, you can do that. It's the one for you that's on this side. Okay? And what you're going to do, and we're just going to do a little experiment here. We trace down the line of the string, and we find the tuner that it connects to. And the strings connect by various means, depending on the type of tuner. This one has a little loop that goes around, and some has a little metal ball in it. Sometimes it goes into it's called the tailpiece. And the tuner might be part of the tailpiece. Some of them are like this, where they're separate. A lot of different styles out there. But if you have your A string, you've traced down there, just pluck it, and we're going to hear what that sounds like. All right. And now I'm wondering why it's suddenly doing this, because it wasn't doing that before. I'll tell you what. Here's what we're going to take that off. No. Okay. So just we'll plug it gently. Okay. So on this particular one, I've decided to put this way out of tune. So I know that's definitely not an A. Did you hear what your A sound like? Right. Okay. Now, if I decided that I was going to try and this is not a viola. I mean, so that's supposed to sound the same as all of those. If I decided that I was going to be trying to tune this using the fine tuners, probably I wouldn't have enough room to screw it down. But I'm going to give it a try just to see what happens. I'm going to, just like any screw, righty tighty, lefty loosey. And whenever you tighten something, it always makes it more tense, and more tense makes it higher, like really kind of high intensity. So, looking at it, I want you to turn your fine tuner, your A fine tuner, clockwise, or you say to the right, a few turns. Again, there is no downside to going too far, except that it might go way too far. I mean, in terms of the sound, right? I'll put mine closer. There we go. I'll put mine more like yours, so I have the same. All right. So we found that the pitch went up, right? Okay. If I were to say, okay, you know what? I don't like how far up that was. I'm going to go the opposite direction now, and I'm going to make a few turns to the left. So go ahead and do that. A few turns to the left. Now I'm way down low again. Hey, you can keep going. Overdo it. All right. So obviously the act of turning it, I mean, unless the tuner itself is kind of gummed up or anything like that, then this is a mechanical problem. That part is not the issue, right? You all agree? Okay. Let's see if we can, and again, this is a little on the softer side, but let's see if we can find a way to match. Now, what I do is I try to tune it, or I try to turn it as this is still ringing. And I noticed a few of you were doing that as well, because that way I can hear it change. Until I find that point where it just matches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know what, actually I'll do this a little easier for you, because it's a little harder to hear it tuner's a little hard to pick up, so I'm gonna do it on my violin instead. By the way, this is how a lot of string orchestras they tune as well. I want you to tune your A to match mine. So as you pluck it, turn it in the direction that makes it sound closer to mine.
How do you get the app?
I just went to Google Play. That one's called the Clear Tune Tuner, Chromatic Tuner. If you put a search in for Chromatic Tuner. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. Let me just do it real quick here. Here, hold my phone.
You plug for your electron.
Yeah, the cellular ears.
When I put it in my notes, what's the you say it again?
I'm sorry?
Chromatic tuner.
Chromatic tuner. CHROMAT. Okay. So make your A sound like mine. And if you find that yours is going further and further away, you probably are going in the wrong direction. What's that? Oh, I'm going to play it this way, because this way I can sustain it a little bit louder. What's that? Okay. Well, then let's try it one at a time. No, let me hear yours. Okay, try turning yours a little bit more. Well, what do you think? Does it sound like yours is higher or lower than mine? It's actually a little bit lower.
It is?
Yeah. So you want to tighten it a little bit. There you go. See, that's kind of the same? Okay.
My turn.
It's going to probably take a few turns, right? Because remember how we loosened it and loosened it and loosened it?
Yeah.
Keep going.
More?
Right is tight. Right is tight, you left you.
Almost there. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. Action. Great. Okay, so does yours sound higher or lower than mine?
Higher.
Yours sounds higher?
Oh, lower.
Yeah, yours is a little lower. Now, one way to kind of make that decision, if you know, because a lot of this is depending on your ears anyways, right? Because I mean, tuning's all about your ears. So, because with the device, it will tell you if you're low or high. If you don't have the device and you're listening to a sound and you're trying to match with it, you hum one, like mine, and then you hum the other one, which is a little lower, and see which way your voice has to change to make that happen. So try to turn it a little bit more. I think you're still a little bit low, right? Closer. Keep going. A little bit more. I'd say that's pretty close. All right, you're up. Yeah, that's good. You do like the Jeff Beck kind of approach here. That's good. That's good. All right. Okay, let's hear yours. So, do you think yours is a little higher or low?
Lower.
A little low. Okay, so try tightening. Ready, tighten.